Does anyone remember the Patty Duke show? Nick at Night? Just me? But they're cousins, identical cousins. Doing something just a little different with my OnePlus 11 coverage, breaking up this conversation into a couple of different videos, and you can go through a OnePlus playlist that I have. A short comparison here, I really like the direction these various BBK brands are headed. Oppo and OnePlus, Vivo and iQOO, drawing from similar parts and pieces, but two separate manufacturing divisions. These are two of the most powerful phones yet released in 2023, and they're both good representatives of a new starter premium tier of phone. A few small compromises to some of the more exotic features out there, but well undercutting phones like the iPhone 14 Plus. It's fun how a few small differences can really add up, like design. iQOO is going with a vegan leather back, and I like the feel of this better than any glass phone I've recently reviewed. And I like the look of the iQOO a little bit better too. It's got that fun sports car paint job, but both phones look really nice. I think it's a bit silly when folks act like, oh, rectangular camera housing is so much more better than a circular camera housing. I mean, for both phones, I wish the camera bulge was either centered or that there was a full width to minimize table wobble on a desk. But I think both of these look sharp, and really it's just going to come down to your personal preferences, what type of rear panel design appeals to you. The main hardware difference might be the screens. Now, roughly the same size and resolution, OnePlus is curving the edges on this LTPO3 screen, which is a slightly more expensive manufacturing process for the frame of the phone. 1440p resolution, OLED, 120 Hz. Table stakes for a premium phone. iQOO, however, is using an LTPO4 screen that tops out at 144 Hz, but not curving the glass on this screen. The iQOO feels just a touch wider than the OnePlus, but the screen is nicer. There are no bends or reflections from the curved edges. I kind of dig just having a flat front screen this high quality. I'm testing the 256 gig versions of both phones, both with UFS 4 storage, both with 16 gigs of RAM, and both with the amazing Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Differences in software are going to result in the main differences we see in performance. And I have a longer video looking more in depth at some of my performance testing. But these two bounce off each other really well. Where one might take a win in one kind of CPU test, the other comes right back. Both represent a noticeable improvement over most of the phones launched in 2022. You will not be hurting for real-world app performance. Both of these are going to be killer for gaming, and both are going to be ridiculous overkill for any notion of average consumers. When we talk about average consumers, we act like this knuckle-dragging, lowest common denominator. Oh, I take text messages and read through some social media. Do not spend more than like $400 to accomplish that. These phones are radical mobile compute platforms. The camera battle is really close too. Now, the main sensors are really similar. OnePlus has nicer companion sensors, a more useful ultra-wide camera, and a fancy new sensor behind the portrait telephoto lens. Unlike the Vivos, like the X90, there is no camera partnership on the iQOO, and the OnePlus 11 is sporting that tasty Hasselblad badge. Between these two phones, I'd give OnePlus a win for video and auto photography in daylight. OnePlus has some fun options for manual modes and an enhanced RAW Plus mode for folks who like to get in there and edit. The Vivo has better manual video controls and performs better in low light conditions. I wouldn't say either is a clear winner. They're both really fun cameras to shoot on, and the battery performance has been pretty close too, given all of the similarities. I can't use the iQOO as reliably on 5G, so I'm going to leave this a bit broader. I would expect in a perfect oranges to oranges showdown, the iQOO should eke out some small wins for having the fancier screen and the V2 coprocessor. The iQOO certainly wins for charging. The OnePlus is the fastest charging phone in North America with 80-watt Super VOOC charging. The iQOO steps it up to 120-watt charging. And it's crazy to see how fast a phone can top off these days. A couple minutes and you're good to run your phone for a day. I really haven't missed wireless charging on either, thanks to this insane cabled charging speed. In other regions where the OnePlus supports 100-watt charging, this is an even closer fight. And that brings us to software, and I think this is the main difference people might be swayed one way or the other. The iQOO is running FunTouch, and it's now one of the least fun skins available. Fun Touch feels a lot like running Android 11 with a few little visual accents. The new version of Oxygen OS is one of the most beautifully animated skins available on Android today, but it's a significant departure from OnePlus's more stock Android days. The fluid animations are gorgeous, but I kind of like the simpler and plainer vibe on the iQOO. I think it helps the phone feel a little snappier when we aren't waiting for iPhone-like slow transitions. But there's not a lot of middle ground here. If you were shopping both, people would have pretty strong feelings one way or the other. And that's what's so much fun about really digging into these phones. They're really similar, but the little differences add up. They both represent a new flavor of starter premium, focusing on core experiences at great prices, but each has their own spin on that idea. I wouldn't pick a clear winner because I'm in North America, so one phone is more immediately useful on local carriers, but seeing some of the differences, which phone would you spend your cash on? Are you in a region where you even can shop an Oppo-backed device against a Vivo-backed device? Drop some comments down below. I'd love to get some of that international perspective. And I've got some other videos on the OnePlus 11 and the iQOO 11 if you want to see more reviews and comparisons. Links down in the description, playlists that you can kind of chew through, and hit that bell icon when you're on your way down to leave a comment. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, subscribing to the channel. This little experiment has been really fun, kind of carving up some of my OnePlus 11 video coverage. So let me know if this worked for you, if there are other things that you'd like to see during these videos as I start producing more of this kind of stuff. All that support has been tremendous. Those of you who are clicking on links in the description below, hitting my home site, SomeGadgetGuy.com, or if you're joining the list of names scrolling by on your screen from my Patreon, patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list is basically the coolest collection of tech pals that you will find anywhere in all of space and time. So I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, a little bit more on the Flickrs and the Mastodon, not so much on the Facebooks or the Instagrams, and I will catch you all on the next video.